Hey, and welcome to A View from the Sim. How y'all doing
She's sipping.
today?
Good, darling. How y'all?
Absolutely wonderful.
Well, y'all
Fabulous.
looking good.
Fabulous. It's been a
What you
long day.
drinking on, Jay?
A little Merlot. Would you like some?
I need some. So let me get my cup too. Pour it on you.
Oh, sure. There we go. I'm sharing with everyone.
Woo, child.
You guys look beautiful tonight.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So y'all
Yeah.
ready to jump on in it?
Yes, ma'am.
Dive in.
Let's do it.
All righty. So I guess we're going to start off with the Black History facts before we start talking about y'all governor. All righty. Who wants to start off the Black History fact?
Go.
You muted, Felicia.
I guess I can go on and talk about Eugene.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Eugene. So let me first of all tell you all, I just last year, because I like Black history. So the more I learn, I'm like, wow, I am 50 some years old now and just now learning about this. But anyway, the young man's name is Eugene Williams. Bless his heart. And Eugene is 17. So in July of 1919, the 27th in Chicago, this young man, along with a few other of his friends, were swimming in Lake Michigan in Chicago. And so, all back then they had this ignorance going on about segregation. And apparently he got a little bit too close to the imaginary, I guess, floating imaginary line in Lake Michigan. And so, of course, the other people in the water, in the beach, they got all crazy. And someone stoned him. They started throwing stones and they hit him and he was killed. And so when that happened, it started a riot in Chicago over this young man being killed. He was 17 years old. 17. And so, that's just another example of how far back it goes that they've been killing our young Black males, and a lot of them walking away and getting away with it. But yeah, he was stoned by several other white youths that were there. And there were 23 Blacks that were killed in this riot that took place because of his death. 15 whites and 1,000 Black citizens lost their homes during that riot. And of course, they were harassed and beat up and killed by the police and other citizens in that city because of that riot. They have recently, as of this year, back in July, raised money to have a grave marker for him. So think about that. That's 102 years ago. And this baby, it was among many African Americans that are in unmarked graves. So members of the community got together, decided they wanted to try to right a wrong for this young man and get him a marker. Now, this other little fact I found out about one of the contributors kind of made me smile, because I said, Dr. J gonna be grinning about that. I don't know. Anyway, one of the contributors was a guy that is a banker. He's a mortgage banker, and he was doing research for Omega Psi Phi for his chapter, his fraternity's chapter, and that is how he found out about this young man, Eugene Williams. And so he said when he started doing the research and found out about this young man, it was something about that made him want to be a part of righting this wrong and to do something to recognize this young man. So him, along with members of his fraternity brothers, and other people in the community, got together to raise over $5,000 for this young man to have a new marker for his grave. And they're also going to set up a memorial site for him, to have citizens to know who this young man is and to remember what they call the Red Summer of 1919. That's what they call the riot, the Red Summer of 1919. So I thought that was really great of them to take time to kind of tell everybody about this young man and the sad thing that happened to him and the other people that died. His gravesite is in Lincoln Cemetery in a place called Blue Island. So they were supposed to have done this memorial back in July. So hopefully they have. So far, I hadn't found any additional information on that, but I just wanted to share that about him because, again, I was like, I've never heard of this young man. We just, only thing I'm gonna say on top of that is, I promise you all, if we don't do it, it won't get done.
Amen.
That's true.
You know,
Well,
we talked about it on the last show.
Thank you for sharing those facts. I
You're
guess I
welcome.
will go next. This weekend, I had the opportunity to visit the African American Museum and Library in Oakland, California. And when I tell you, I was so excited to learn about Miss Mary J. Sanderson. And she was the first teacher in Oakland, California. And what makes this story so remarkable that she taught in 1871. And, you know, I have studied Brown versus Board of Education, which happened in 1954. And that's when most Black people were allowed to attend public schools. But in Oakland, California, they was allowed to attend public schools in 1872. So think about that, from 1872 until 1954, you had a group of Black children in Oakland, California that was allowed to attend school. And when I did a little further research, I found out that Mary Sanderson's father was, he was a teacher. He was he was an activist. He he was pretty much the reason why the school opened. And so when I think about the Black Panther Party, which was founded in Oakland, California, I relate that their early education and knowing who they are with them founding the Black Panther Party and these college students, you know, when they founded this party. And so them having that education, them having that advantage was the reason, you know, is what I'm thinking is the reason why they had the insight to fight for their rights at an early age. So
I would have loved to attend that museum with you. I have put that on my list of places to go.
yes, check it out. Check it out. You
Yeah,
know, I
bucket
tried
list.
to somewhere educational, you know, each state that I have the opportunity to visit.
Yeah. I'd stay all day.
Anyone else have a Black history fact before we move on?
Today I was swamped. I have been completely loaded, so
That's
I'm
a
going
Black
to-
history
I
fact.
am going to yield.
We always load.
I am going to yield. I am going to yield. It really has been. But I was thinking, you guys probably don't know this, but my sisters and I were the first African American swimmers that swam AAU here in the state of Mississippi, actually in the Deep South. And we were for about 12 years.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Watching
that's,
Black
you know,
history.
yeah. Michael Rubenstein was the reporter, the sports journalist at the time, and he would follow us and
Really?
do different stories and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was very interesting. I remember, and I'm going to tell you guys this, and then we're going to move on. We were down on the Gulf Coast. It was the state championship, and my sister was swimming 6 and under, I believe. And it was between she and one of her teammates and another little girl from the Golden Triangle. And they were holding hands and they were along the fence. And members of the Golden Triangle swim team walked by her and they pushed her into the wire fence. The wire stuck in her leg and she jumped off of it. She didn't feel it at the time. They get up to the block. She gets on the block. She hits the water. The chlorine starts stinging. She set the state record.
Oh, wow.
She walked on water too, didn't she?
She set the state record. She set a state record. She broke it and she
What was
said
meant
yes.
for her bad?
She
turned
set
out
a
to
state
be for her
record.
good.
And I remember the kids, a couple of the children coming over, you know, saying what had happened because they wanted to report it. So that's something we laugh about. We look back now. Then it wasn't funny. Now you go,
Exactly.
wow. See how that works? And she hit the water and psh, she jumped out of the pool. My dad was at the end. He got her out. She was bleeding. And I mean, it was just, we couldn't even celebrate her win because she was just, my leg is burning, my leg is stinging. Yeah, sure did. She held that record for a very long time.
When people do that kind of stuff, you send them a thank you card. You don't even know what you did for me. Thank you.
Like, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. You helped me out.
I didn't know how much I needed that motivation.
I appreciate it. But yeah, so we experienced some interesting things growing up. That's swimming awesome. With them. Right. And you know, my father was always, you always have to be 2 lengths ahead of them. You can't just work on, worry about who out touched who. It's got to be a definite win. Like, it's got to be outright, you kicked ass, and that's that. Like, no problems. If not, you lose the race. You always have to be 1 step ahead. You always have to be better. You always have to be a body length ahead, that kind of thing. And so that's how that's why we push as hard as we push, because that's awesome. What we were taught. Yeah.
Well, speaking of, you got to be better. Let's go ahead and get this national news so we can talk about y'all's governor.
The most embarrassing.
Care nothing about it.
Can you put up a graphic of Mr. Potato Head while we talk about it?
It's a tater tot land.
Mm-hmm. Y'all know something not right with that man.
He got Trumpitis. I thought I told y'all that before.
But he needs a vaccine. He needs a shot.
It ain't one.
He's traumatically influenced.
Clueless. He just clueless.
But I mean, come on.
Apparently he doesn't care about other people's children, or he don't care about these. Look, to be this Christian, he say he is. Christians are a little less scared of COVID.
Christians
are they?
Less scared.
Okay. COVID killing Christians. Okay. That was just embarrassing. That's like some embarrassing statement Trump would say.
It is the worst kind of politics. It really is.
Mississippi governor over vaccine. Mm-hmm. And he's telling him, your policy is not working. And his pride just would not let him say, this is not working. Let me.
Tapper told him it wasn't working. Tapper told him it wasn't working. It wasn't working. What's your suggestion?
Let me tell you what's going on in the South with these governors. So if you look at the numbers, it is Black people who are most affected by COVID and who are dying at an alarming rate. Right. So they are trying to not wear masks and do all this stuff so that more Black people can die, so they can have a better chance of getting reelected. And I'm telling you now, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
So you believe it's a purging, huh?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yep. So, all right. So we watch him and we listen to him, and I've heard people in general talk about it. And you guys know, I ask, "Are you vaccinated? Are you vaccinated?" Okay, then stand over there. You don't have a mask on. You vaccinated. Right. Then I walk out. I'll stay outside. No, seriously. Like, are you vaccinated? Not vaccinated. Okay, but
what if people die?
But for the most part, if you walk around and you're looking at the grocery stores, Black people are the ones that are actually wearing masks. Now, some older white people are wearing masks, but for the most part, they don't wear them. No, they don't wear them. And so but I mean, look at the leadership. The lie he told about the numbers being cut in half over the last 2 weeks or whatever it was. The numbers being cut in half. Our numbers aren't down.
Of course not.
Our numbers aren't down. And poor Dr. Dobbs, he working his tail off. He can't. I don't know if they're not listening to him. They're not going to listen to anyone, because he's telling you every single day, your chances are better if you're vaccinated. Your chance of survival are higher if you're vaccinated. So I'm not really understanding. But there was, I don't know if you guys saw this, a couple came to Mississippi for a visit, and she went back. They went back. She died. She caught COVID. She died. Mm-hmm. She died. And in her obituary, it actually says, and I could not find it for the life of me, but I'm going to find it and send it so you can put it up for next week. But her obituary, her son actually wrote in there that because the people in Mississippi are so selfish, and it's the
So
right
has she
couple.
been vaccinated and
She was
she
vaccinated.
still
Yes, yes,
passed? Yeah.
yeah,
So she and
yeah,
so did she like she came, she was vaccinated, but she
yeah.
didn't have on a mask.
She
See,
wore a
that's
mask.
another thing. Some people that are vaccinated, they say,
I
well,
know
because I'm vaccinated,
they won't
I
wear the
shouldn't wear
mask.
the mask at all. But they forget that the vaccination is just the, try and hopefully prevent you from ending up 6.5 feet under
Right,
or wearing a
right,
ventilator. That's what that's for.
right.
But you still should wear the mask to help protect yourself and other people. So
But with all the anti-vaxxers that are dying, that have died, nothing clicks. Like I don't.
Well, it doesn't click for me, because I've done a lot of research too. I'm educated enough not to just go off what people say,
Right.
and I'm going off of what Dr. Lane Rowland, who I know is a virologist, he has studied infectious disease in different countries. A lot of these doctors that are telling people stuff, they ain't
they
studied
don't
infectious
know.
disease. They are family medical doctors, and so I'm going off people and he works for the military, and so he don't believe in the vaccine. He said it's only good for 89 days. You're gonna keep getting booster
Oh,
shots.
wow.
And
I got number
this
3
was
today.
that's who's coming on the show, and you can be able to ask him any questions, and you will see the type of knowledge that
Right.
how smart this man is, and so.
He's right because I got number 3 today. See?
But then that means
I
if
got
he says it's
jabbed,
only good for 89 days,
so
then
I
you're
got to do
like
everything I got to do.
constantly
I
getting
got.
this vaccination every couple of months.
And
Yeah,
they need to
Wow.
stop calling it a vaccination because, when you vaccinated, it
you just said
stops you from getting something. They need to
right.
call it another name because
Oh my God.
that's not what it's doing. And I will agree that the people who have taken it, they have a better chance, so.
Yeah.
But just
But
about monthly, just about you'll have to be doing this.
but I still believe that leadership should that the whoever is in charge because I don't understand this guy. Mandates should be in place for at least masks. Am I wrong? Do y'all? I'm just
He
I
he
would
doesn't even want to. He doesn't even want to do that anymore.
that's what I'm saying. Like that part is just
It's wild.
they're starting to have concerts. My mom said it yesterday. They're gonna no today. This morning she told me. That they're gonna have the concerts are coming back in Brandon. The concerts are coming back to wherever. And she said they're gonna be wide open now, and it terrifies her. It
I
really
think I
terrifies her.
I think I read something that our numbers had surpassed the
Oh
Spanish flu
yes.
from
yes,
the 1800s.
almost 10,000 more, and we'll be yeah almost
That's absolutely incredible. And
10,000
it
more.
did it take, I'm trying to think, was it like 3 years before that
It
cleared up
it
completely?
yeah. Yeah.
So,
So we're about
okay.
10,000 there,
So
10,000 less.
I guess they're trying to meet that and beat it, but I don't want to be in that number.
But Jake said if Mississippi were its own country, we would be number 2 in the nation
That's how we operate, like we are
It,
on
with
I was about to
with the
say it.
most
We act like
the
it.
most deaths per capita
one
behind
take away from
behind Peru, behind Peru that has
And,
very little health concepts of medicine. They're not because I was looking and they don't have not even they can't even touch the knowledge that we
and
have
you would
here.
think he
And
wouldn't want that kind of publicity. You would think he wouldn't want that image for the great state of Mississippi.
he
You would
tried to
think.
put it out. He tried to compare it to other states. What about this state? And
We
Jake's
ain't
like, we're
talking
talking
about
about
them. We talking
yours.
about the great state of Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of Mississippi, let's check out some local news.
What we got?
We got a lot.
So, Otha Kane Media reported that a local supervisor who signed a form for inmate to be transferred. And so it was out in the news, do supervisors have the power to sign or authorize inmates to be transferred? And so I thought that was very interesting. And people been David Archer is trying to do everything and he know how to do to get y'all's attention to try to make people watch what's going on. But instead of listening to what David is saying, they so focused on his antics that he's using. But he's trying to tell y'all that they robbing y'all blind. So what y'all think about?
I think what about that or David's delivery or this order?
No, we ain't even talking
Let's
about.
talk about that order because you be all day on beating that drum.
That's irrelevant. They focus on something that
that's what I'm gonna say.
You can't change his behavior.
But it's hard to focus on what he's saying when he's beating all the time.
That means you got ADD. That means you are at this level, and you need to take your thinking to a higher level.
Yeah.
But see, when people are screaming and all this noise is going on, it's hard to focus, and then you're fighting back and forth. But,
well, Felicia, listen, he did. I believe that he does his delivery he delivers. I believe he's specific in his delivery. He knows what he's doing. Yes. He has to get the attention first. If you sat there and you just spoke and said, well, this is happening and this is happening, that would go clear over people's heads. But if you are to the point and you're saying what you need to say, the media will take heed. People that are honestly trying to figure out, why is he so adamant? He's adamant. Why is he adamant? That I think is catching people's attention now. Folks have left the fact that he had, that he's banging the gavel or that people are now, and the reason they are paying attention now is because of everything that is unfolding. So you gotta go. Yep. But if you look at the news,
I'm trying to be. You can be passionate and adamant without beating all the time.
Not when you're working in that environment. I think he does what he has.
My husband just came here and said, "Are you all right?"
What you think,
Well,
Jay?
I think that we as people have been conditioned to behave the way that they want us to behave. And I think that it's an injustice for a person not to be able to express themselves the way they want to express themselves. If I want to yell and I want to holler, there are two options that if you were thinking on a higher level, can do. Either you could listen or you could get gone.
Yep.
And I think that is the issue, and that is the problem why there is so much back and forth.
I agree.
So much bicker here, bicker there. The reason there is and then there's a reason that people have an issue with it. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear this, and I want to hear it that way. Well, you should also understand that this person has a right to deliver how they want to deliver.
So deliver.
But we have been conditioned to behave in a certain way, in certain patterns. Yes, I do believe that, decency and order is pertinent. But in that, there also is a time and a place. So,
but you can hardly hear the exchange with all of that. And that's my only thing. I would love to hear your point. But I want to be able to hear it.
But you've heard his point though. You've heard his point, not from him. You didn't hear his point from him. You've heard his point from the state auditor. You've heard
he just got the attention.
You've heard his point from the FBI.
I don't think they know that a lot of these people houses have been raided and all this type of stuff that's going on.
You've heard his point. You just didn't know that was David's point, but
that was his point coming from him.
It is doing what it's supposed to do. That's it. You heard his point. Yeah, it's been pretty rough, but I say we're gonna sit back and there's nothing else for him to say right now.
And then
you're not gonna hear from him.
And then we get this thing with that Otha Kane has shared with us, and so here we go, seeing Hines County Supervisor Cordell Calhoun, and what's going on with that?
Honey, the Wendy Williams of Jackson.
Yeah, so
Baby,
bad.
So I'm
baby, listen, when I tell y'all, you see, y'all looking at the circus, and I'm watching the ringmaster, baby. The
Mhm.
right.
ringmaster's out there quiet, and he got a plan, and y'all so focused on the circus that you can't even see the ringmaster. And that's the ringmaster. Been pulling
Well,
strings a long time.
and that's what's now that's what's being said, and that's the impression that is being that is being given. And so I was looking at this story and I was like, I'm kind of confused. Is Are you saying that he gave someone or requested someone to take authority in place of a sheriff and move a prisoner who did not have the authority to do so? And so with that, I would say, but as you know, over this board of supervisors, did you not know that? So does it come down to you just don't care, you just want to do what you want to do, and it doesn't
Well,
matter what the order
as
is
a,
supposed
I
to
mean,
be?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
just
too
trying to
familiar
understand it.
with their complete
the
duties as
policies.
board
Yeah.
of supervisors, but
Mm.
at the same time, if he was allowed the form and allowed to sign the form and request, then there had to be
They gave him the form.
some
Somebody gave him the form.
additional. Absolutely, I'm sure he didn't print it. I'm sure off of Google.
See,
No.
the people that work there, they work for Hines County. And
Right,
Uh-huh.
the supervisor is their boss.
is their boss.
Right.
But they're
Absolutely.
not over the prison. You see what I'm saying? They're not their
Right.
direct boss, but they what's the word I'm trying to
So
use?
are they the boss of the sheriff as well? Correct.
Yes, they appointed the sheriff we have now.
Right. So they feel like they could do it. We're in charge.
Exactly.
And,
They using their power,
Right.
abusing their power.
and so, if I understood it correctly, was Marshan Chrysler saying this is not setting a precedence, but this is something that's been done before in the past? That was the impression that I got. He was saying, what's the big deal? We've done something like
We've
this
done it before.
But just because
And
you did it before doesn't mean that it was right
doesn't
and
mean
proper
right.
process.
Does
Yeah.
anybody did I didn't finish reading Other's post. Did he has he interviewed the sheriff yet? Do y'all know?
He didn't
Well,
say
yes,
that he had a
he
hearing.
did include. He didn't interview the sheriff, but he showed where he interviewed other people who dispelled what the sheriff had to say.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So that they doesn't know any
Okay.
sheriff that has
Okay.
allowed this to happen.
And that would be my question. Like, would there still be a process? Like, although they are technically the boss, so if one of them, like he did, decided to request this form and request for this inmate to be transferred and moved, is there a process for that, like a due process? Once that they do that, do it go to the sheriff, and then do the sheriff, is there some type of process?
He
No
didn't
one
see
knows,
how-
right?
right. He didn't.
I don't see how that would be possible, because that jail, number one, we under the consent decree, number one, right? But and it's really that's an interesting. We can talk. We should talk about that. We can break that down another time. But I don't think anyone has control over the jail except the sheriff. So I'm sure this one is going to. He said, I saw where he said he was going to, put some policies in place so that when that happens, it has to come through him first, but or come through him. Which I guess we thought it would have to do that anyway. You would think that it would have to do that anyway. So that's that's it's really interesting when you look at it. And I'll say this, because we're talking about the jail and the sheriff. Do you guys know that there's only one person in this county that can arrest the sheriff? You know who that is? You know who the highest officer is? It's the coroner, Sharon Grisham. She's the only person that can arrest the sheriff.
Interesting.
What?
That's a
Yeah.
fact. Isn't that crazy? But hey,
Yeah.
okay.
So she's slanging bodies and arresting.
Slanging bodies
Hello, come back.
and taking bodies.
She's powerful.
She the body snatcher.
Now
I would have thought maybe the mayor or something.
Right.
Like,
She
No,
the
it's the
body
coroner.
snatcher. She can get them.
No,
So,
that's
so
our girl.
Jackie,
That's
Well, you know
girl
what? That's
power.
it. The body snatcher.
she the body snatcher.
Snatch
So,
the sheriff.
so
The
Jackie,
And I'm gonna tell you, she's overworked too. And we can talk about
oh
that
yeah,
next
Oh,
week.
bless
yes.
her heart.
She
So
these
Sheriff,
last 2 years, I'm sure have just
We need to
I,
invite her
exhausted
on
her.
the show.
let's do that
Yeah.
because I'm telling you, I spoke with her. I saw her at Chief Vance's funeral. And she, I asked her, I said, I think about her all the time. I really do. And I asked her, I said, are you getting any sleep? And she said she's averaging 2.5 hours maybe a day. She
I
lays her
wish
I
head
wasn't
down
so
and
afraid.
she has to come back and
It's
she
scary.
has to get back up.
Yep,
That's a lot, y'all.
I will
I'm
offer some
sure.
help.
That's a lot. And she's
Now,
good at
It's
what
your
she does.
job. It's your job to pronounce people dead.
right, and she constantly having to go see bodies. And
She has deputies, but it's just not
So-
enough to cover.
So Jackie, let me ask
Yeah.
you this. So in the story that Otha Kane shared, he talked about, like I said, when Marshawn Chrysler said that the actions of Calhoun, he contributed that to a previous administration. That he said the previous administration had a relationship with the board of supervisors where the president of the board may make a phone call on behalf of a constituent so that the inmate can be relocated. He said it's not common and it's not a policy that they usually support. I'm wondering what previous administration had this type of
I
relationship.
don't know. Did he say?
And when-
Probably
No.
all of them.
He
Did
But
he
just,
hey, I need y'all to pay attention to what he said. He said make a phone call. Make a phone call.
right. He
is
said make
on
a phone
behalf
call on behalf of a
of a constituent.
constituent.
that's different.
Oh,
And-
okay.
So that the
Make a phone
inmate
call is
may be
different than
He
paperwork.
said so
I
that
got
the
you, Doc.
inmate may be relocated. So you
Anybody
can make
can
the
do that.
phone, yeah, you
So-
can be the constituent and make the phone call, but that don't mean
The
that they need to
phone
be
call
relocated.
is totally different from filling out this
Policy.
request and signing
Totally
it.
different from policy or process.
But you notice, let me pull it back up. It wasn't signed, Jay. Whoever did it, they was not putting their name
Now,
on that line.
right.
You see it blank right there. Blank.
So he
Oh,
said
yeah.
and he says he asked them, he asked Chrysler if he was able to verify his claims. If he
Well,
was
who is the
referring to-
authorized signature?
There's no signature.
There's
He
no
put a
signature.
note- He put a note down there that said this was authorized by President.
That's what I was trying to see. Okay.
So they didn't want to get in that trouble, and so they asked him if he was referring to Sheriff Malcolm McMillan. And you notice he said we all know McMillan operated differently, but he never really said that who it was. He just somebody mentioned that
Well,
it didn't happen.
McMillan was a
during
sheriff
Tyrone
for a
Lewis's
million years
administration.
Yeah.
until the last two.
And he said it didn't
We'll
happen
never
during Tyrone Lewis's administration. So
We'll never know what all he was
who's
doing.
left? Mm.
One thing I remember about Sheriff McMillan was, when grandmothers and grandparents would be dying, he would have someone to take an inmate to their grandmother, if they call, or to their grandfather before they died. I do remember him doing that.
That's
I
a
remember he did a lot of
decent
different
thing to
things, but I remember he was very adamant about that. And I know several people that to this day will always say, I'll never forget when my boy was down in Raymond. The sheriff, we called him and they brought him. We couldn't touch him or anything, but they let him, say, give his grandmama a hug or be there when she died. I remember that.
I remember that too on some instances,
some
even
things.
to some certain services that were allowed to view and leave.
I'm gonna
And
say
leave.
this.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to the entertainment
I
news.
remember that. Yeah.
Everybody and their mama running for sheriff. Like
Okay.
all
Can
the
I
sheriffs,
run for
Yeah.
sheriff?
all the last couple sheriffs
Yeah.
not here anymore. I wouldn't be trying to run.
That's what I said too.
Let's
Doc.
go.
You
Doc.
be drinking Merlot every day.
Doc. I'm just Doc.
Let's
We're
go.
gonna stop you.
Ooh.
Can-
Spin the
Can I
wheel. Spin the
the first
entertainment
black
wheel.
gay sheriff.
Who's next?
You ready, Jay? I'll run your
Yep.
campaign.
What I need to do?
Let's talk.
Take that bottle of Merlot and go fill out that form.
Because I want to run in some of these doors anyway. Kick some of these doors down.
They gonna call you to kick those
We're
sheriff.
gonna go and get you
Yeah.
deputized.
They think Melton was running around here with bulldozers. I show them bulldozers.
See, they should have left him alone. We might not have all these issues.
Yeah, you said
leave
stop
it alone.
But in math, see, y'all don't apply what y'all learned in school. I apply what I learned in school, and I see
I
a
know.
pattern.
I
I
know.
see a pattern.
I
Like,
know.
okay.
I know.
Two.
It is something.
1 + 1 is 2.
What's the efficacy of all this?
Somebody said if you keep telling me 2 + 2 is 5, okay, fine. 2 + 2 is 5. Okay.
Baby, whatever you want to think. Maybe you dyslexia. Okay, darling, we'll get you
Okay.
some help. It's all right.
Okay. 2 + 2 is 5.
Yes,
Oh,
darling.
is
Yeah.
Baby,
It's the rule, baby.
RuPaul snatched up Emmys this weekend, baby. Well, yesterday at the Emmys. He holds the most
11.
Emmys for 11 wins. So we
11
shout
wins.
out RuPaul.
Let's go. Let's go.
Rule.
On his
Give
celebration.
I mean, look like we ought to have some
Yay.
music. I love the glasses.
Let's go.
darling.
Let's go.
Did y'all get a chance to watch the Emmys?
I did. But I read, you know.
We don't never win.
think
I get upset.
We didn't get represented too good this time.
We
Well,
get
let me show you
nominated.
We never are really.
show
We
you how
never are really.
Yeah, but this year, oh yeah.
How Mississippi. Do y'all see the name?
Rita
Do
Brett.
y'all see the name?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
Mississippi
Yes.
is represented.
Put it on the map.
Mississippi owns Rita Brent was
Yes.
a writer for the Emmys, and she thanked Cedric the Entertainer for helping her, you know, giving her the
That's
opportunity.
an awesome opportunity.
So yes, indeed, and that's life changing.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is. Yeah, it is. Her
Tashina
price
Arnold.
tag just went way up.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
yes, yes.
Way
So
up.
I don't even know if she's gonna want to host the documentary with us now.
She will. She will.
I'm believing that she will, though. I'm
She
keeping
will.
my fingers crossed that she'll
I
be able
promise you she will.
to do it.
We supported her. She knows we support her. Like
Yes,
she
absolutely.
knows that
From
she
day
does.
one, day
We
one, day
support
one,
her.
day one.
I remember when she would host a fashion shows, and
Mhm.
they were church fashion shows, and her jokes had to be tailored. And she'd turn around and go, "Okay, you know what? I'm sorry, Pastor." And she'd get back in there, and she'd jump right back in it. I'm so serious. But I remember telling her, "Yeah, you keep it up. This is your craft. You are good at it." She's good at her craft. She really is.
Well, and we need
I was
some
proud.
positivity to represent Mississippi after all the other stuff that's going
As long
on.
as I just told her she needed the pom poms along with Patty Pick. We got to let the pom poms.
I love those commercials. They're cute.
Pom pom got to go.
yes.
Got to go.
Pom-pom gotta go.
The pom pom got to go, Rita. She just laughed. Pom pom got to go.
Wow.
No pom pom. What else we got, Doc?
Hey, how many of y'all watch your girl Wendy Williams?
She's sick, isn't she?
That's
Yeah.
what they are reporting. They are
Mentally.
reporting that she was hospitalized for psychiatric issues, and that she was found. You know, I've heard different stories about it, but like I said, the news media, her team is putting out that she went for the hospital for psychiatric help, but the blogs are putting out that they found her drinking alcohol and a little something about cocaine. They don't want people to know that it's relapse.
The truth, yeah.
She's their moneymaker.
Yeah.
Well,
in our prayers.
she needs to get her help. So that's
Well,
all that matters to me.
God
Well,
Almighty
and then
goodness.
that on top of her medical health issues as
Yeah,
well.
she
If
got
that's the
medical
case,
issues.
so you got to think about controlled substances
And
illegal controlled
medication.
substances and medication
And
as well.
And her man left. That girl took her man. They over there living off her money.
Yep, that'll make me drink every day.
No, that made me do something else.
Baby, I'm
Yes,
gonna drink.
leave
I'm
it
gonna come
like
bust
this.
your dough in. I'm gonna
Yeah,
get some charges.
Listen, I had to tell people, ain't no need you doing nothing else, because while you in jail, guess what they gonna be?
Living off your money.
If they not dead, why would you want to?
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many people out there. Go and find you another one, baby.
Yeah.
So
See, it ain't, but you know,
I don't know how
still dealing with that.
I don't know if this I hope it's not, so people out there watching don't I'm serious, but don't take me serious.
Right.
But I don't know if it's fraudulent or not, but don't she have a son?
So now you
think
sound like my
so.
father. My dad used to say,
Don't she has a son?
"Is
I
that her
think
son?"
so. I think
Wendy's
so.
Wendy's son. Guess what?
I think
Everything
I've
I
read
own and
something
have will
about
be in
that.
his name.
Listen, let me
Yeah.
tell y'all. Do y'all ever watch the Queen's Court?
No,
I haven't
No.
watched it in a while.
I haven't.
Every time they get ready to talk about Wendy, they said Wendell, bucked off.
Yeah, I say, see, I'm not playing. My dad not here, so I can't tell y'all my dad. But my father used to. I used to walk in the house, and my daddy swore down that she
get
was a man.
Jason, get Dr.
Jay.
Jason Merlot. Can we get
Jay,
some Merlot?
my dad used to say,
It's
"Baby,
it's
that's
wrong.
a man."
It is so wrong, but it's so funny, man. That nigga, they got about 11 names, y'all, that they done called this woman, and that shit be so
Jay
funny.
trying to pour y'all some Merlot. Jay,
Yeah, she trying to give Jay
drinking
some.
beer. Jay,
Give Dr. J some. She about to choke over there.
do that.
There you go. Thank you.
My daddy said her hands bigger than his. I said, Daddy, that's a lady. I
Okay,
said,
so
she got
that's
a
the
son.
sense that okay, so you know.
Jay.
Let me just add,
Listen, but I have to, I always have to take up for my people too, but I need my people to not be so sensitive. There are some,
Yeah.
women that do look like, transgender women. So my trans family, don't y'all get
Don't get
offended.
upset. Don't get upset
Don't
with
be
me
so,
either. Yeah,
don't wear everything on your shoulders, baby.
Right.
It's just a little joke. So, I have to put that disclaimer out there because everyone has become so sensitive about
Jay,
everything.
I had to do that last week. I had to do that last week.
Girl,
I made the long drawn out post.
I don't know why people are so sensitive about stuff like that, especially my people. Hell, we gay. We're gonna talk about you, baby.
Listen, if you don't know who you are, you let other people tell you who you are,
and that's a problem.
And the old folks used to say you don't answer by that name. Don't answer by it.
It's not what they call you, it's what you answer
to. That's right.
My mama said that.
I want to just add, when I read this, the first thing I thought about was, God don't like ugly. Now, you went on this video and you talked about Tabitha Brown. Talk about Tabitha Brown so bad about what she did for her man and her husband that she loved so much. And Tabitha came back and she was so gracious and so sweet. And even when she did the video, she said, honey, you must, you must really be hurting. She said it. She said, you must be hurting really bad.
So another disclaimer.
And she told her, I hope that you find a love like that. So I'm sure Tabitha, someone saying, Lord, help me just to pray for her.
Tabitha read Wendy
so graciously. Did she not?
She read Wendy like a good old punk.
Yeah, she made her look really, really bad and negative.
Really low. She made it look really low.
And she told her, I hope you find a love like that one day where
who would love you like my husband loves me. Who would
love you like that.
Those were her words.
Because let me tell you something, I come into something like what Tabitha Brown got going on. That soft little brown eyed thing in there called Jason Brookins. Come on, baby. You can sit down or go part. Well, you can go part-time. I want you to sit all the way down now, but you can go part-time. But she wanted her to understand I love my husband that much and he loves me that much. And we have such a trust and a connection that this is what we do. And she was like, I'm hurt, I'm sad that you don't have that. Yeah. And so, she just
it shows.
It shows.
She didn't. And a lot of Wendy's issue, I think, too, is that her life had been built around so much mess that when the mess hit her, she wasn't able to grieve from her mother because of mess. She wasn't able to grieve and start the healing process from her finding out about Kevin, her husband, who she loved so dearly. And I think all of that has really taken a toll on her mentally, on her psyche.
She's gonna have to do her eval and she's got to get her counseling and
daytime TV is not for her anymore.
It's not for her right now.
Yeah. So I think that just like they think that Lil Nas is a bad influence, I think that Wendy is a bad influence on our children in daytime slot.
They need to give us that time slot.
You better speak it. That's what I'm talking about. They need to let the silk come on.
Hello,
we got plenty going on.
Do you got Lil Nas that you can pull up?
Yeah,
Jay.
Give me what you want. Give me what I need.
Oh, y'all know.
Jay.
Okay.
Y'all know Lil Nas gave birth
Yes, I saw that
So,
video. Well, I
so the
started
CD,
watching the
he released
video.
the CD.
You know, he
No,
released
it
the
was
album,
it
dog.
was an album.
Let's take a look.
Woke up on our phone. Oldest plastic bed, don't wanna blow up no more.
So first of all, how many people about to name their baby Montero?
There's more.
My son's middle name is Monterrey.
Okay, that's close enough.
Well, actually, Montero is his
My
given his
son,
birth name.
my son's middle name is Monterrey.
Yeah, Montero is actually Nas's birth name, his
That's a
given name.
beautiful name.
Jay,
Oh,
you need to go find him because he needs some help with his wardrobe. I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna let that.
I
Jay.
love his wardrobe.
No, Jay, you would not have put him in the
he
you
brought it at the Met Gala. Oh,
So
baby.
the Met Gala, yes. But what he came out in, y'all know he had that little Richie thing going that wasn't going. But no,
so
not Little
so
Richie.
let me
The,
tell you why I loved it. The Rick James.
Rick, tell me, please tell me, please help me with that
I'm
one.
gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why I loved it so much. I loved it
Okay.
because I stepped outside of, and I know
The
people,
box. Okay.
always want to know how could you do that? It's possible,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
stepped outside of our sexuality,
Okay.
and I stepped over into the arts. And when I stepped over into
Gotcha.
the arts, I started just researching and going back. I paid attention to his behavior. I paid attention to those before him. And if people would really stop and just watch and listen,
Mm-hmm.
he is paying tribute and homage to everyone who came before him
We said that last week, I think. I think
in
Jay
those
mentioned
arts.
that.
And
Yeah, I got you.
I don't think that people are really getting it. That everyone is so technical.
Religious. They
Okay.
so
Well,
religious.
yeah,
Okay.
everyone is so technical and religious until you don't even understand this man, this gay man, is not specifically telling the world and children that he is birthing a baby from another man. That to me, to even think that is ignorance for me. To even look at that first sight, that lets me know that your mindset is right here. You're not thinking beyond anything else anyway. That's just where you are. It's so literal.
But you know,
That's just like
men have carried babies, though. You know that.
absolutely. And
Okay.
not
Okay.
only
Okay.
that,
Okay. Okay.
not only that,
Yeah.
this became really deep for me. So I really started kind of reading some more, as far as,
I did too.
religion and other things as well. But what it did for me is it showed me how mostly our people, when I say our people, our African American community is so traumatized. We are so traumatized by what
Everything.
is, quote, literal. Everything is not what it looks like. You cannot put a label on everything because you saw it that way, in my opinion. And I wish that I wish they would let off. I say all the time, there's only two differences between him and those that came before him. He's the first to ever openly say that, hey, I am a gay man. Hey, I am a homosexual. And I think that is the nugget that causes the confusion. That is because if LeBron James put a belly on and say he was birthing the golden basketball, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Speaking of that, let me show this clip that I have. Add jacket back.
We back.
So yeah, let me show this clip
Okay.
that I have. I was trying to add you. Crown tag.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
What?
Keep watching.
Yep.
Okay.
I shared that last week.
Hello, Al.
God, I remember that.
Let me fast forward.
I don't know why they make those car seats so low to the ground. Now I'm having afternoon sickness.
It's only 8 pounds. Looks like you might be having twins. Well, if anyone could give you twins, it would be me. Check it out. I didn't do too badly myself.
They have another clip.
I can't wait to get started on the.
They have another clip
I
where
love
they actually giving birth in the other
I
clip.
know.
But let's show a little bit of this Lil Nas interview, which made me kind of change my opinion of
The
Lil
Breakfast
Nas.
Club interview.
Yes, I thought
Yep.
he did an amazing job. Let's check it out.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
It's the first time he's here. He was supposed to be here a couple of times, but we finally got him up here. So I want to start from the beginning if y'all don't mind. Little Nas X. How did you come up with the name Little Nas X? Most people thought maybe your name was Nasir and it was short, but how did you come up with the name Little Nas X?
I was like, how can I steal three rappers' names into one name?
No.
I mean, of course you guys know about the account. I had the account. And I was like, I wasn't going to do music like for real. I was just going to post something because I was bored. I was just going to post something because I was bored. I posted a song to my followers. And I was like, oh, every rapper name got Lil. And I was like, oh, every Uzi. So what if I was Lil Nas? And I ended up keeping it. You know?
Now you were at first, you were a barb. Were you one of those barbs that really wanted people like the barbs do?
Absolutely.
Barbs are aggressive.
I'm still barb.
Really?
I feel like that's something. It's like a cult, you know. Once you're in it, you can't really get out.
Did you ever attack anybody up there? Like Charlamagne? Me?
Huh?
Did you ever attack anybody up
I
there?
think I've attacked you guys a couple times.
So what made you switch to the government now?
The government? What do you mean by that?
Montero. Your government name.
I didn't really switch yet. I wanted to get my actual name out there. People still think it's like a fictional world I just made up. But yeah, you know.
Is it true that your mom named you after the car?
My mom named me
the
after
car.
Yeah.
And now she probably don't even want it no more. Now you can afford it.
Now she probably don't even want that. You can afford it. And she don't even want that.
I mean, I feel like that would have been cool too.
I feel like that
All
would
my
have been cool
Spanish
too.
friends think
All
I'm
my
like
Spanish
Spanish or
friends think I'm
something.
like
So I mean,
Spanish
that's
or
fire.
something. So I mean,
So
that's
do you
fire.
understand when people troll you because you troll people and like or had those accounts and make you more like, okay, I don't take it as seriously because I know I was in that position.
Absolutely, I feel like that's why a lot of shit just Absolutely, that's why a lot of shit just rolls off my sleeves. Yeah. You handle it well. When people go at you, you handle it really well, which is surprising because Most artists, they can't handle it. You see them break down, you see them get into problems.
I definitely do break down sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm never gonna do that shit publicly.
When you break down, you got a therapist, you got like
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because it's kind of
like ground you. I tried to get a therapist one time, right? And then like the concept.
Definitely go and watch it.
I wanted to say something. Jay made a point about that because because he was very open about his sexuality. Jay was saying because people. He said this, and people know that he's homosexual. That's part of the shock that they have about seeing the picture of him looking like he's pregnant. And for some people, they have an issue, a problem with it. And when he said that, I was like, I was watching the clip of Cosby and thinking about that, and I said, well, that's it, because he said I'm a homosexual man. When they see that, it's bothering them and it's troublesome, as in comparison to when they look at this clip from the Cosby Show and they think, oh, well, that's just funny, because that's a heterosexual man and that's a woman and they're a couple, and that's a man and a woman, and so of course it's just a joke, and so people are more comfortable with that because it's just a joke. But when they see him, because of how he has come out and identified himself, it comes across differently to them, and it's like, oh wow, and it's shocking to them. But the flip side of it too is Jay also talked about art, and so he is an artist, and so of course he knew when he did this it was going to be a firestorm, and so firestorm is what you want because you want this attention. So
so he pulled a Kanye.
Yeah, pretty much that's what he did. He ain't a mad genius, but he's a genius because he knew what would get people talking and blowing up social media and anticipating and wanting that.
He's a Generation X marketing genius.
Okay.
Well,
marketing. He is.
That's what he is. Well, and he said, watch the interview. He tells you more.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, I read some disturbing posts of people's personal opinions and thoughts, and a number of people were put in Facebook jail because of them. They were so vulgar. And I will tell you, I will never forget when my daughter came out to me. The first thing I told her was, I need you to be prepared for this world, because this world is not ready for you. I'll never forget that. I will never, ever forget that. I have supported my baby just like I supported my boys the same way. Because number one, they are human. That is where she is. That is who she loves. She's doing what she does. She knows herself. I am an advocate, an activist, a protector, and I will continue, because I'm telling you that this world is cruel. So we have to at some point remember, and I said this before, we have to remember, love is love. Love is love, and so talking to her about Lil Nas X, I'm like, Raina, why did he come out looking like what's his name from Coming to America? Sexy Chocolate.
Sexy Chocolate.
Sexy Chocolate. And she
give it up for Randy Watts.
And she said, Mom, you've got to see past that. You got stuck on Sexy Chocolate. And that's
everybody got stuck on Sexy Chocolate.
But she's an artist also. So she's an artist. She's a makeup artist. She does drag. She does shows. She's got 4 booked in Arkansas right now. And so I'm, all of this. I raised her up in it. I've grown with my child, in this. So I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I feel like I can say what I need to say. And if you don't like it, then but you're not gonna judge me about,
I want to say thank you. I watched the show Pose. I have friends that are, part of the community, and I know how they get discriminated against. I know how you know, they create other families because most of their families throw them away. And
oh no.
them. So I want to thank you for standing in the gap for your daughter.
Absolutely.
Oh, baby.
And I want to add
Right
something to that too. With me being now a certified community health specialist and linkage to care activist, I applaud you too, Jackie. I really applaud you so much. And to piggyback off of what Dr. Carthen just said, is that a lot of younger LGBTQ plus I individuals find themselves meeting people alike, meeting people like them or people that they can identify with and create families and start small organizations and things to support them and how they feel. That is why as African Americans, for sure, why we are leading in STDs, HIV, and AIDS. And if I could get my heterosexual counterparts to understand that the disowning, the turning away, the lack of knowledge, the not understanding a person's inner is causing and is what is continuing us to be high in those numbers. But all they see is this is wrong. I don't agree with this. But what they are allowing and helping create is the numbers. And I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there. And that is it's very important that if you don't really know, just be quiet.
Just be quiet. Right.
If you don't,
if you can, at least be quiet.
Yeah, if you don't even want to take the time to wear the shoe,
the stud,
don't window shop.
Nope.
You know, that's just my belief, and I say that because I think I can speak from all spectrums of it. You know, one nothing that I can change about. First, being born African American. Two, being assigned a gender, my birth, male. Three, the fact that I'm a gay male. So no one wants to wake up every day and choose persecution.
That's DJ. Yeah.
Who wants to wake up every day and choose persecution?
No one.
Nobody.
No one.
That's ludicrous. That's insane. I'm gonna wake up today and choose to have stones thrown at
me, right?
And choose it. This is what I'm gonna wake up and choose.
Right.
But I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna move on from that because I'll go on and on and on and on and on and on. But there's a story.
And these are one of the topics we need to elaborate on.
Okay. Well, there's a story. There's a story in King James. You know, for my Christians out there, there's a story in King James that I hold dear to my heart. And when I tell this story, I never give the verse and I never give the exact names. And I do that because people need to stop listening to what people are saying and go and read, go and find and research for themselves. So I'm going to say this. There's a story in King James Version for my Christians and my believers out there where it's stated, it's written, it's recorded that the people, they took a woman to Jesus to discuss all of her faults and downfalls and what she was doing and had done and probably was getting ready to do. And in their recording, it says that Jesus himself, as they were talking, telling her business, he kneeled down and started to write in the dirt. That for me was significant because what that tells me that if Jesus himself ignored the people about coming to him about what somebody else has going on, and that spoke volume to me.
Woo, let me add to this.
That is something that
John 8.
Yeah.
Go to John 8 and read
the recording
story.
continued to say when he finished writing in the sand, when they finished getting through, he finished writing in the dirt. He said, "He without sin cast the first stone." So what that mean? Now all y'all got to turn around looking like a fool. And do not come telling me nothing about me and what my God got going on. Because at the end of the day, he brought me here alone. He taking me out of here alone. You're not going with me. And you're not gonna be all the prayers and intercession prayers you done gave ain't gonna stand a chance when it's me and him standing there. And that's what I stand on with my whole being and who I am as a person, as a human being outside of my sexuality. And that's what people need to understand and get. But hey, we live in America. We live in a world
I think that's a good note to end on.
Just let me say that was the point I made last week. Remember?
Yes.
Oh wow.
So quick.
Yeah, we had this discussion, Jay, last week.
Yeah, we had a discussion last week. You still
see how the universe do. You see how you do.
Love,
yeah,
you have to love everybody. And like you said, I think the point that the example that I gave was that's no different than, if you were out there committing adultery or something, you're gonna persecute this person, and basically God was saying, if you're not free from sin, you can't throw the stone. And you mentioned about the comments. So those very people that were putting all these nasty comments out,
oh girl,
you weren't showing love, you weren't showing Christianity. So God will still, you got to still stand before him for that. And so that they see God in that, they didn't.
And several of those
still
were
can
friends
be just because
Facebook,
it's homosexuality is no
now.
different from anything else. So you have no room to be so nasty and ugly and persecute people because you're not.
And you got 9 children with nine different women.
So what's the difference? So there's no difference.
Yeah, we got to analyze that story a little deeper.
Okay.
And first of all, it was men that brought a woman who was adultery. Who in the hell
the men could have been lying.
Well, first of all, who she caught with?
That was a question one of the pastors asked one time. He was like, well, where was the man? Because the man would have been stoned with her. So, where was the man? They probably brought her there and made up a lie anyway.
And see, that was my reason for saying for my Christians and believers. Because you got to break that stuff down. You got to break it down, baby. You got to break that down.
Read it for yourself.
My point is, Jesus was writing in the sand and he was saying to himself, they don't even get it. They don't understand. It is not about the sin. I paid for all your sins.
Yeah.
I got it all, baby.
When the disciples asked Jesus, what's the greatest commandment of them all? He said to love God with all your heart and all your mind and all your soul. And the second one was like it. To love your neighbor
as yourself.
Right. Yeah, there we go, Jay.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
So if you hate me, then I know you don't care nothing about you.
Yeah.
How can you love me?
You can't love God.
You have not seen, but hate your brother.
But you saved, sanctified, and filled with his precious Holy Ghost.
That's what
they say. But see, the difference between save and deliver. You can get saved, you ain't delivered.
That man, they say Jesus turned water into wine at the wedding.
Jay, you finna give out the communion Merlot. That's communion Merlot.
And Jay, let me tell you, I'm Shirley's daughter. She was a walking Bible. And the scripture said they was already drunk. So why would Jesus give them more wine if they was already drunk?
Yeah.
Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
Man, it ain't even about all this stuff that we be focused on.
No, I think it's easier. It's easier, guys, in my opinion, it is. It's easier to deflect. People that have a whole lot going on with themselves that's not right, they're the first ones to find something wrong with someone else. Absolutely. And one of those persons that ended up in Facebook jail, I completely cannot and have not been able to say hello or anything. I haven't. He's still working on me. I'm still a work in progress,
and that's okay.
I saw
everybody.
This guy. I
He's
saw
still
this
working
guy.
on all of us.
It's important.
I saw him Sunday, and the things that he had said, things that he put in writing, that he put out there for the world to see, derogatory, hateful, just. I don't need those people in my space.
One of those very people have to give him a glass of water.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah,
you better
right.
say that.
You sure right. Yeah, and I just
mad about that homosexuality when you starving.
It's easy for me. I just cut you off.
Just love everybody.
I don't need you in my space.
Just love and respect.
I don't need you in my space.
It's so easy. It's so easy, but it's so hard for you to mind your business.
The same.
To drink your Merlot and mind your business.
I don't understand. But you know what? They don't have any business. The word said people perish for a lack of vision.
Lack of vision. Mm-hmm.
They don't have a vision. That's why they're out here looking at you, because they ain't watching what God has for them.
Yeah.
I made a post last week, Dr. J, that said this. I posted Lil Nas and I put a little thing in there, but I did it comically. And I was like, see, that's what's wrong with us today. But if we kept our eyes stayed on the Lord, like they said, like the word said, we wouldn't even have time to know what he was doing. But see, we don't keep our mind focused where it should be. Our minds are everywhere else, but where they should be.
Instead of working,
our minds should be in our own homes, behind our own doors, behind our own bedroom doors, not the next person.
Right.
Yeah, I can only keep up with me.
At home because you worried about what they doing over there in the street.
Yeah, I can only take care of me.
Baby, look, the word say you got to repent daily. I'm daily about something. So I'm so busy. I'm so busy saying, Lord, forgive me for this and that.
You know what that means?
I really ain't got time.
If the flesh have to die daily, what that mean?
Well, that's right.
That means you would sin every time you open your eyes.
You got enough business to fill up the whole day.
Paul reminded us in Romans 7:7. The things I want to do, I don't do. The things I don't want to do, I find myself doing. Oh, what a wretched man I am.
Baby, what you say?
Ooh, wretched, filthy rain.
The thought that I don't want to have, I have. The conversation I don't want to have, I have. But then I'm over here saying ugly, nasty stuff about you and your man or your woman that you
right. I don't want to sit and ate a trough of pork and everything else. Shut up talking to me.
You done went ahead, you done went ahead a shrimp.
A trough. Okay, all kind of shellfish. Baby, get out of my face.
I think it's education. People have to be educated.
And you know what else? You know what else, Jackie? With education too. Mm-hmm. With that education, which is very important, but also that personal experience.
But I'm telling you, I'm serious. When I have a question, there is something. If something new, every time something new comes up, I'm on the phone. Raina, can you explain to me? Okay, Mom, give me 10 minutes. I'll call you back. We go through I research, I talk, I meet people, I talk to people. I mean, it's what I do. I talk to people. I want to know so that I get it right.
Right, absolutely.
So that I get it right. You know, I want to know, I want to make sure that and I do this with people in general, but if I realize that I've said something to offend somebody, okay, now I know that will never happen again. The same with LGBTQ plus community, and right, like the same. Like I want to know. I want to be able to get before the mic, Doc. I want to be able to stand up at the podium when I'm speaking and know what the hell I'm saying. Know that I got it right. Know that I know that they can receive it. I want it to be received. I don't want you to get out there and just blumber a bunch of words and it sounds real good.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that the reason that there are so many different, what I call labels and categories, is because everybody has tried to long for and find them somewhere.
Right, find them somewhere to fit.
And that's the only issue that I have with my community is because the 98% of my community has tried to find a place to belong. So there you become the L. There you become the B, the G, the Q, the plus, the I.
Gotcha.
The T for train. That's what all of those different non-binary, binary. That's where all of those labels come from, because everybody want to fit and belong somewhere.
Oh, it's a laundry list.
So man has tried to let us categorize
put it in a box.
Let us categorize this. Let us categorize this instead of living and letting people be people, be human. That's my only issue.
It's time to go.
This is your cup, and your cup is full. And that's what they go around to do, asking people, fill my cup, when Jesus is the only one that can fill the cup.
It's full, baby. It's full.
And that's what they have to understand. And once it get low, and there's some things out there can make our stuff get low. And that's why we got to keep plugged in.
We got to keep a big cup.
And guess what? And guess what?
Yeah.
If that cup at birth is not being replenished and filled at home, that's when the issues and problems start.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because you know, if you ain't got love at home, regardless, you might not agree with the person, you might not agree with the lifestyle, but you still have to show them love, because that's just a normal human emotion. That's a normal human desire and want to be loved.
But Felicia, can I tell you something though? May I tell you something? You guys are this is going to blow your minds. I have never, ever disagreed with my child in her life. I've never disagreed with my cousin in his life. It's not me to disagree with. That is you. It's
but that doesn't blow my mind. I can understand that.
Yeah, like that's not.
Everybody might not.
You sure?
I'm just saying for those people that do, don't be so nasty and ugly about it.
And with you saying that, Jackie, and I know we got to go, Dr. J, but with Jackie saying that, I want to just throw this out there too. I applaud you on that as well, but also I have such a wide spectrum, and I have that because one, I'm not I say I'm not your typical gay black man. And I say that because one, thank God, and I pray for those who had, but I was never subject to the abuse side of homosexuality. I was never exposed to homosexuality growing up. Everybody was people. That was Ernest. That was Kim.
Yeah, right.
Nobody was, that's the gay one, or that's the lesbian, or that's the that. And also, as I got older, I went through actual channels and phases in my sexuality, meaning that I live trans, and I'll share this with you all and everyone out there, those who don't know me and those who do know me. I live trans. I live transgendered. I lived and worked as a transgendered woman, as a woman for like 14, 15 years from 1999 to about maybe 2000, maybe 11, maybe 12. And people really didn't know, but I lived that life. I lived that. And I also now I'm living as a gay man who does female impersonation as entertainment, drag. That's something that I love to do.
It's beautiful art too,
so
man. Oh my
I
God.
have been able to live on each spectrum.
Gotcha.
Each spectrum. So I can speak from each standpoint. I can speak all the way around it, baby. I done ran the streets as trans. I done it all. I done it all. And I can speak from that. Which now, thinking and looking back, that is why I was taken through those phases. See, people don't understand. God do what
journey.
He do what He want to do with you.
It's your journey.
And He took me on that journey. See, my life was already written.
Yeah.
All the choices that I made, my life was already written. And see, that was written for me to go through those cycles. Why? Because now I am community-based. I am a linkage to care professional. I'm a community health specialist at this point. Out of all of my endeavors and all of my entrepreneurship, this is what he still has brought me around to full circle because of that. And that's what people have to understand. Baby, it's written.
And
Celestial, darling. It's already written, baby.
And CJ, because of everything that you have experienced and your journey continues.
It continues.
As long as you breathe, your journey continues.
It continues.
See, so I know that I can call Jay and say, hey, Jay, I met this trans, or I met a girl, or I met a guy, and this is the issue. What do I say to her? Where can she go? What do I need to do? You know, unless we have these conversations, we don't know.
We don't know
out there that can help. And so that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. Because,
and that's why I labeled myself as a linkage to care specialist. Because one, you got to be a special person. And two, you got to have the avenues and you got to have the resources to link those people to the necessary places that they need to be.
Yep. Man, we got to have more conversations like this. I really want you all to think about topics, you know, and submit the topics so we can, you know, build on these conversations. And I think we'll get more people watching if we have these real conversations like this.
Absolutely.
So, we can bring it into that.
So let's give our final thoughts. I know we have gone over time, but I want you all to give your final thoughts. Starting with you, Jay.
Well, my final thought is going to be always love and be loved. And I say that because love is one of the easiest things to do, yet it's so hard for us to do. And I just think that with everything else, it takes practice. It takes conditioning. So train yourselves. Let's train ourselves to love. Let's train ourselves to love. I'm going to keep saying it. Let's train ourselves to love. Put that in your Rolodex. Let's train ourselves to love because it's the easiest thing to do, yet the hardest. And that's my final thought.
All right, Miss Jackie.
2 words for the rest of the week until I see you guys next Tuesday. Any and everything you do, I want you to be intentional. Be intentional.
Gotcha.
I want you to be intentional.
All righty, Miss Felicia.
In my mind, I just got this song going. We coming in hot. That's all I'm saying. Show love, because baby, tonight we show love came in hot. It was fire.
Yeah.
Jay gave us too much Merlot. Y'all drink your Merlot and love and stay happy. That's it. Drink your Merlot, love and stay happy.
Well, thank you all so much. My final words is, you know, everybody always talk about love, but most people don't know what love is. 1 Corinthians 13 tells us love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love does not boast, it is not arrogant or rude, love bears all things, love believes all things, love hopes all things, and love endure all things. Stay in love. Thank you all so much, and we will see you all next week.
Jay, I need my sponsors.
Oh, thank you so much. Go ahead and shout out sponsors.
iDressFabulous.com. We want to thank our sponsors, A Beautiful Chaos, Village Kitchen. They got the best wings in town. J Structure, Beauty Queen Closet. And to support what we're doing and to promote your own business, contact one of us, or you can email drcarthan@yahoo.com.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
To stay informed about what's happening right here in Jackson, Mississippi, keep it locked to A View from the SIP.